driving last Friday on her way to Cincinnati on a snow-white Christmas Eve. Going home to see
What is going down, world? Welcome to the 40s. I go by the name Black Pegasus. And today, I'm checking out Carrie Underwood, Jesus Take the Wheel, for the first time ever. Now, this is after doing a first-time reaction because I reacted to Carrie Underwood. I think she did a performance with Vince Gill, potentially. Maybe it was Amazing Grace. This was like a year or two ago. You know, and I didn't know any of her original music. So the first reaction that opened me up to Carrie Underwood was Before He Cheats, which is a wild record. Anyways, I don't know where this one's going to go. This is my second reaction to Carrie Underwood ever. I've never heard this song, Jesus Takes the Wheel. I haven't seen this video, so it's a first-time reaction. But I'm interested to see where this goes. It is so rare in today's age, especially in American society, for someone to put Jesus in the title of their song and them being a popular culture figure. And I think that's powerful alone, and that's why I'm here. I wanted to check it out. A lot of you guys, after my reaction to Before He Cheats, are like, you have to check this one out. So here we are. I'm the people's champ. My ear is open, and here we go. Anyways, if you guys are here for a first-time reaction, like, share, comment, subscribe, and welcome back to the channel.
They tease him with hot black peas on the spot. Welcome back. 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 40.
All right, let me get this logo down and pull the video up. Don't forget to support the original content on the channel. If you want to check out my other channel, Pegasus vs. the World, over there I've been doing some movie reactions. However, all the music and the music reactions, they happen right here on this channel. If you want access to the reactions early, there's a link in the description to our membership. The membership gives you early access to the reactions. I update it every day, and there's a big catalog of reactions that haven't been released yet, so you could have some fun in there. Also, it's the place where you can support this channel. Because of the copyright claim system and YouTube's blah, 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 I'm not going to get into a spiel, but you guys heard other creators talk about it. Anyways, the membership allows me to prioritize reactions and actually continue to do reactions. So there's no obligation, but I just want to thank the people who just come here and watch. If you just watch these videos, you hit it with a like or a comment, thank you so much. That means the world to me. And if you're a member on the channel, thank you so much for helping me keep the lights on. Anyways, let's keep this show on the road. I'm checking this out from Carrie Underwood's official YouTube channel. If you want to check this out over there on her channel, that would be lovely. Without me, just because my reaction isn't a substitute for the original, I'm not redistributing the music. I'm going to push pause, make commentary, give my first interpretation of the song, stuff like that. But it's always important to support the original art where it came from. So go watch it on her platform, stream, purchase, all that good stuff. And let's go. We're checking out Carrie Underwood, Jesus Take the Wheel.
She was driving last Friday on her way to Cincinnati on a snow-white Christmas Eve. Going home to see her mama and her daddy with the baby in the back seat.
Okay.
50 miles to go and she was running low on faith and gasoline. It'd been a long, hard year. She had a lot on her mind and she didn't pay attention. She was going way too fast. And before she knew it, she was spinning on a thin black sheet of glass. She saw both their lives flash before her eyes. She didn't even have time to cry. She was so scared. She threw her hands up in the air. Jesus, take the wheel, take it from my hands, 'cause I can't do this on my own. I'm letting go, so give me one more chance to save me from this road I'm on.
right, so this is going to be one of those ones. I wasn't really prepared. I didn't know where this was going to go. But, saying Jesus' name is very powerful. Regardless to what people are going to tell you, regardless to the backlash I might get from expressing my love and faith in Jesus Christ, that's just the truth. And that's all I can do is spread the truth. So with more being said, first, I love Carrie Underwood's voice. I love the production. As a young rapper, I did this cipher, and I had this punchline which had her name in it, and it wasn't in the greatest light. And I don't necessarily regret it because I can rap. You kind of go all over the place. But I think in doing a reaction to this song, it's only right to take accountability for saying something that was it was just a punchline, just like, filler. But anyways, that was on my heart. Now let's get into the context here. I think she drew out the storyline, or whoever wrote this drew out the storyline really well in not even just a literal sense, but metaphorical sense. Because we all know, like, when you're driving, like, taking your hands off the wheel and just saying it, like, that's insane, right? Especially in a snowstorm if we're taking it quite literal. But in the metaphorical sense, I've been through this. And it kind of shook me listening to that first verse, but then listening to the hook with it kind of jarred me a little bit because I was at a point when I was rock bottom, going through a bunch of changes in my life in my 30s. And then me and my wife started trying to have children. Some of you guys might have heard this story before, but it's because it's one of those big scars, right after I lost my mom to cancer. A few years later, we start trying to have children. And, our firstborn, Huey, was a stillborn. So, he was born early at 6.5 months, right? Like he was born, like he's premature. And his heart stopped beating in utero at 6.5 months. Wife had to deliver him stillborn, right? And that kind of traumatized me a bit. But then fast forward another year, and we go through it again. Our first daughter, Indigo, the same thing, almost same timeline, 6 months this time. And I just remember being rock bottom. And, I'm a fighter. I'm a optimist, but I was done. I was at the bottom of the barrel. And, at this point, I still had faith in the Lord and stuff. I had, when I was like 17, I turned my back on Jesus and the teachings of my youth and went into the world. And around my, 30s, I came back to the light. And anyways, I'm dealing with this in my mid-30s, losing these my children as stillborns, right? And I was just rock bottom. And I remember having a Jesus take the wheel moment. I didn't say Jesus take the wheel. I just said, I had this, I was like, there's nothing left. I don't have anything left. I wasn't going to take myself out of pity or anything, but I was just like, I've been fighting a good fight. I don't have anything left. I need you. And I don't know the timeline, but a year and a half later, we had my first daughter, Alinea, which even her name, we named her, Alinea. We got the concept from this restaurant, Alinea, because it means the symbol on the typewriter that means a new page. And sincerely, Alinea is our rainbow child, the child after the storm. And, God showed his face in those moments for me when I was rock bottom. And regardless of how people want to interpret these things that happen within our lifetime, people want to chalk it up. Oh, the miraculous, it's they don't want to believe. It's fine. But I've had that moment where if it wasn't for Jesus taking the wheel, I wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be watching me on YouTube. I wouldn't be giving this testimony right now. And that's just the truth. So we all have moments, and they're dealt with differently, right? Just because I asked Jesus to take the wheel and I took faith doesn't mean that I was going to be blessed with children, right? And one of the things I've always wanted was a son. I wanted a son, and there's other things going on in our life, but we're probably not going to be able to have any more children. So I have to be happy with what was given. But some people aren't going to get children. Some people aren't going to get their loved one back. Some people aren't going to, I don't have all the answers, but I just wanted to give my testimony and how it connected with how powerful this song is already just from one verse and one hook. So kudos and bravo to Carrie Underwood. I want to give her flowers and respect, especially after coming from a song like Before He Cheats. You know, I'm actually joking around in that reaction because I was like, this is actually a crazy video and song. So to have something this uplifting and powerful, I did not know. And I'm really proud of her for putting out something like this.
It was still getting colder when she made it to the shoulder and the car came to a stop. She cried when she saw that baby in the backseat sleeping like a rock. And for the first time in a long time, when she bowed her head to pray, she said, I'm sorry for the way I've been living my life. I know I've got to change. So from now on tonight, Jesus, take the wheel, take it from my hands, 'cause I can't do this on my own. I'm letting go, so give me one more chance, save me from this road I'm on. Oh, Jesus, take the
I don't know what is more powerful here, the message or her vocals. I'm going to go with the message, but her vocals are piercing this. She is extremely good, and I was sleeping on Carrie Underwood, and she is great. Now, I want to have one more conversation because this is important. This is important when we talk about Jesus take the wheel. There's this concept where people say no one is coming to save you. In some context, there's truth to that. There are certain moments, like I believe God bestowed the power upon us in multiple ways. He gave us examples of creation. We can create all these different things, and we were created in his own image. So to just give up and be like, oh, Jesus, take the wheel, I ain't doing this, is crazy, right? We have choices. And we need to have discernment in those choices. But there are some times we just get to a certain point, and sometimes I'll just say, "Let your will be done," and I'll just keep pushing forward, right? So I just want to throw that in the air because I don't ever want you to feel like there's no power within you, right? I always want to concentrate and put God first. But he's also given us power, and don't ever neglect that. Don't neglect what he has given you, because it's a balance, right? It's something you have to be able to see within yourself, the power you have, and that's a part of the gift, right? And every now and then, every now and then, everyone needs a little help. It's just the truth. You can be the hardest, stoic, strongest man in the world. And we all have those little crinkles because we're human. But I do believe I don't know if I'm saying this properly, so I hope people are gathering what I'm trying to communicate. But don't just ever give up on yourself either, Not saying that she's saying that at all. I just think it's very important because I know sometimes we look for things outside of ourselves, when you have to recognize the power is within you. Like literally, that's where you're supposed to hold Jesus, within you, in your heart, right? So just don't ever forget that. When people are taking themselves out because they're on the ledge, let's say, you just have to remember your power as well. And then remember God's power, because they're two unique, different things. But he has given you power. Just remember that. Remember that on top of, if you hit the rockest of bottoms and you can't pick yourself up, he's there. But we got to also be able to pick ourselves up from time to time, because he's given you that power. You know, that's how I process it. Anyways.
Oh, Jesus, take the
Beautiful, beautiful and powerful song. She has a beautiful voice as well. I do think when things are out of your control and things kind of go off the rails, why wouldn't you let Jesus take the wheel? When we go back to the conversation I was just having, but also, you know, recognizing that you have some power as well is important. Man, this was there's just a lot. I could probably ramble about this concept for a long time. It means a lot. This means a lot, you know, and I've been through some different circumstances and situations that I'm sure you guys have been through as well, different ones, some more extreme, some not as extreme, but that's okay. It's all about perspective and how we deal with those things too. Powerful stuff here, powerful stuff. And I would have never known. It is actually really wild to hear this song after my first initial introduction to her after he cheats or before he cheats or whatever. Like, I'm just like, yo, she should just be doing, like, I think it's great because if she only did this, she'd be considered a Christian artist, a gospel artist, and she wouldn't get the recognition that she deserves, and it wouldn't go as far as it should go, in my opinion. Right? Because once you're inside of the box of a Christian artist or gospel artist, people write you off. And I think her being a pop artist, because I've heard of her before. I've heard of Carrie Underwood. I just had no clue. But anyways, her being a pop artist brings the message to more people, in my opinion. And I think that's delightful and that's dope. Anyways, I think there was something else I wanted to say, but it's not there right now. So I'm just going to ride off into the sunset. There's some powerful imagery here too, with the video, you know, people going through it. And, you know, essentially what she's saying is give it to God. That's how I take it. Is once everything's once you've exhausted all your resources, I want to make that clear. You don't just throw to the wind and be like, I'm not doing anything anymore. It's like you actually worked towards this very hard and you've exhausted everything. There's nothing left, you know. And you just give it to God because it's out of your control. Because God has put a lot of things in your control. Don't ever forget that. You know, a lot of these things we have to take accountability for, you know. And it's as simple as, you know, the things we think, the things we watch, the things we eat. You know, I'm not trying to get on a pulpit because I am by far not the perfect man. Even with some of my movie reactions, I'm like, I literally just did a reaction to Clerks, and it was pretty raunchy to say. But again, I'm just a simple man. I like beans and rice. Hopefully you got something from me, as Carrie Underwood gave something to me that was special in this moment. And hopefully, I don't know, man, that was great. I feel uplifted. I feel stronger. I feel magnificent. Anyways, you guys let me know what I got, what I missed. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and I hope you truly are doing good out there. Always support the original artist by streaming the music. She's still probably doing shows. Get tickets to the shows, all that good stuff. I'll catch you on the next one.
Thank you for being some man. 40 years down the road, back again. FUQ, boy.